Shalom. First off, I want to give all praises to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha Kodash. Yahweh is the true name of Heavenly Father, who the world ignorantly calls God. And Yahweh Shai is the true name of the Heavenly Father's Son, the Son of Yahweh, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. I want to give double honors to my apostles and to my elders of Great Millstone, who I learned this truth from, and peace and blessings goes to the hopeful members of the elect, my brothers that are on the highways pushing his word and his truth in sincerity. In today's lesson, Lord willing, this lesson is edifying through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha Kodash, which Racha Kodash is Hebrew for the Holy Spirit, in which I hope the Lord bestows upon me to do this lesson, in which I want to get into why do our people act so surprised when Esau Edom, the so-called white man, shows us that he hates us, when Esau shows his true self, when he shows who he truly is. All right, because all on social media you have all these countless videos all across America of these racial encounters and of Esau showing hatred towards us, calling them niggas and all this and that, doing this and that, and our people get so emotional and so in their feelings and so caught up and so caught up in Esau showing himself, showing his hatred towards us. All right, our people get all caught up in that, not having understanding, not having understanding who he is, that he's the devil. All right, throughout the years, our people have been trying to get love, trying to find be loved by this man, trying to be loved by the so-called white man. When he's our natural born enemy, we've been this hatred that there is between us so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans and Seminole Indians against Esau Edom. It goes all the way back to the beginning. All right, it goes all the way to the scriptures, and what Jakes don't have no understanding, man. Because if you have understanding of the scriptures, if you have understanding of who you are, that you're God's people, and you have understanding who he is, the so-called white man is, you understand why there's a lot of friction, there's a lot of hatred between us so-called black, Latino, Native American, and Mexican men against the so-called white man. You'll understand why there's a lot of racial tension. All right, and it's really the Lord. He put that in there. He made us two different nations. He made us enemies. All right, and us Israelites, we're not supposed to trying to be loved or love this man. He's our enemy. All right, he will always be our enemy. All right, but let's start off in the book of Genesis, because let's go into the root of where this hatred came from. You can't make this man, our people, you can't make this man love you, man. Okay? Because I see, Jake always want to kiss ass, always, kiss ass to the so-called white man. When we go out in the highways and byways telling our people who they are, and when you tell them about the future of Esau Edom, how they're going to have to pay for everything that they have done, how they're going to go into slavery, our people have a problem with that, man. Our people don't want to have Edomites as slavery, as slaves. Our people don't want to rule over them. Our people don't want to see this world, Esau's world, America, be destroyed. But this is why they're going to be destroyed with it. But let's get the book of Genesis, the 3rd chapter. And we can start at give me a second. Because, hey, even like you have brothers that come out with different accounts how before they came into the truth, they had a problem with Esau. They never really liked Esau. They didn't and they didn't understand why. But ever since they came into the truth, they understood the reason. They came to understand why they always felt some type of hatred towards Esau, because he's our enemy. He's our natural born enemy. All right. Let me see. Genesis, the 3rd chapter, and I can start at the 12th verse. Now, when you read the from the first verse, it goes into how Esau, the serpent, which before he was known as Esau. All right, when you read about the serpent, a lot of people will think it's an actual snake. No, this is an actual man. All right, which this man became little known today as the Edomites. The son of the wicked. All right, let me see. Genesis, the 3rd chapter, and the 12th verse. It says, "And the man said, The woman whom thou gavest to me to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I did eat. And the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahshua said unto the woman, What is this that thou hast done? And the woman said, The serpent beguiled me, and I did eat. And what did they eat? What did Adam and Eve eat? Which was first Eve. They learned the ways of wickedness. When we were supposed to learn we were only supposed to know the ways of righteousness. But Esau came in with his deceiving ass, with his, his crafty ass, because he's crafty. All right, he's crafty, and told the woman that you won't die. You're gonna become gods, which is the truth, but you won't die, which is a lie. All right, knowing good and evil, yeah, we are gods, knowing good and evil. But where he lied was when he said, when you go into it. When he said we weren't going to die. All right. So when the Lord came, all right, and through the mouth of his prophets and spoke, the woman told, like, hey, the serpent, he's the one that beguiled me. Right. And they learned the ways of wickedness when they were not supposed to. Verse 14, and the Lord God, Yahweh Bashim Yahshua, said unto the serpent, Because thou hast done this. Now the serpent, like I said, a lot of people think it's an actual snake. All right, when you go into the word serpent, yeah, well, in the Kash, a serpent, snake, serpent image, fleeing serpent, which is not. This is not referring to an actual serpent, a snake. All right, you gotta go into the root. You gotta go into the Hebrew. That's where you look into the Hebrew to find out who is this talking to, who is this talking about. So when you go to the root word, right, root word etymology from Nachash. So this word stems from Nakash, which is to practice divination, divine, observe signs, learn by experience, diligently observe, right? To practice divination. Who does that? Well, which is, basically witchcraft. Esau. His kingdom, all right? His whole kingdom was built upon witchcraft. All right, let me see if I get give me a second. I have my Bible here. See if I get this quick precept, right? Because Esau's whole kingdom stems on witchcraft, man. He has this whole spell on our people, man. This is why, the only way that our people can be cast out of the spell, there's 2 ways, right? If you have to be of the elect, the Lord has to wake you up, which majority of our people are not going to be woken up, because the majority of our people are not of the elect. But the other way to be casted out of the Lord's spell is death, which is what the Lord is going to bring upon 2/3 of our people. See, give me a second. Right, this is Isaiah 47 and 47 and 12. It says, stand now with thine enchantments and with the multitude of thy sorceries. Right, with the multitude of thy sorceries, witchcraft. Esau, like I said, Esau has a spell on these people, on the people, on the whole world. But he's specifically cast enchantments and spells against us as a nation. And that spell is really only working on the ones that the Lord doesn't want. the 2/3. It says, and with the multitude of thy sorceries wherein thy house labored from thy youth, if so be thou shalt be able to profit, if so be thou mayest prevail. Okay, let me get another one. You can read more, but that's the point I want to bring out. Let me see, let me grab another one real quick. Give me a second. All right, this is the one more juicy. This is Nahum chapter 3 verse 4. It says, because of the multitude of thy whoredoms of the well favored harlot, the mistress of witchcraft. Right, Esau Edom, America is the mistress of witchcraft. That selleth nations through her whoredoms. Right. What does America offer to these other nations? Their way of life, their democracy, their philosophy, their philosophies, man. All right. Through her whoredoms, and families through her witchcraft. All right, that's Esau Edom. All right. So going back to the word serpent, when you go into the Hebrew word for that, it's a kosh, which is referring to a man that practiced divination. All right, we know that man to be today Esau Edom. Okay, let's grab another precept. All right, let's get Revelation chapter 20. I'm gonna get to the point with this one. Verse 2, it says, and he laid hold on the dragon, which is, the Roman Empire, but you could also apply to Esau's kingdom as a whole. The old serpent. All right, the old serpent, which is the devil and Satan. Devil means, the Greek word is diablos, which means false accuser, which these devils accusers day and night. And Satan, he's like the physical counterpart of Satan. All right, Satan is when you look in Hebrew is Shatan, which means adversary. All right, and Esau is adversary to the Lord's ways. He's an adversary to righteousness, and that's because he's wicked. All right, so it says, and bound them 1,000 years, and this goes into when Esau was, during when Jake ruled Europe. All right, you had the Byzantine Empire and all that for 1,000 years. When Jake was ruling, Esau was in captivity. Okay, but they referred to him. See how Apostle John referred to him as the old serpent. All right, so going back to Genesis, the third 3 and 14, it says, and the Lord God, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle, and above every beast of the field. And upon thy belly shalt thou go, thus shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. Right, now, the Lord, he brought different punishments for, the woman, the serpent, and Adam. All right, and this punishment, we're going into the punishment of serpent for his involvement of having Adam and Eve, deceiving, first Eve, then Adam was deceived through Eve, and getting them to learn the ways of righteousness. I mean, the ways of wickedness. All right, and telling them, beguiling them, deceiving them to eat, to learn his ways, and that they're not gonna die. All right, so the Lord was sent out a punishment. Thou art cursed above all cattle and above every beast of the field, which represent these other nations. All right, it's not referring to an actual cattle or beast. It's referring to these other nations. All right, which were back then known as the sons of men. You have the sons of God, which are us. The sons of men, which are these other nations like Moab, Ammon, Ham, Ishmael, Japheth, right? And then you had the sons of the wicked, which is Esau. It says, so they're at all nations they're cursed, right? Because there was a time when it says, upon thy belly shalt thou go, and thus shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. There was a time when the Lord put them in a very lowest state, a very confused state. All right, where they were in the caves, man. They didn't know how to speak. They didn't know how to basically live like people live. They didn't even have clothes. They didn't know how to, they didn't know how to live functionally. There's a word for it. I cannot pronounce it, but They were not civilized. They were like beasts of the earth. You know, they were like beasts, wild animals. The Lord really put them in a very low estate. You're right. The scriptures, when you go to Daniel 4:17, refers to them as the base of men, the lowest of the low. Okay, and that's the curse that the Lord put upon. That's the punishment that the Lord put upon them, man. Okay, that He put them in a very low, confused state, man. They don't know how to speak. They don't know how to be civilized. You know, you know, the Lord. They had to live. They lived up in the mountains. That's where you have all the stories. You know, I'm just saying, I'm just speaking, I'm not saying it's facts, but you having like Bigfoot and, the Yeti and all that shit. The Bigfoot, the really Bigfoot is you Edomites. Bigfoot, cave, because when he always portrays a caveman on TV, he always does that right. He don't tell a lie. He always portrays himself, because he is that caveman. You lived in the caves, you weren't civilized, you didn't work. You live like beasts, like animals, and that was the punishment the Lord put upon you. Okay, and we can get precepts to that. You could read Job 30. All right, but I want to get to the point with this one. Verse 15 is the point. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman. All right, which it represents us. Between thy seed and her seed, it shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. Right, when you look up the word enmity, it goes into hostility or hatred, and this is where the hatred started. The Lord put that. He put that hatred, that hatred between us, man. Because we're supposed to be hatred. We're supposed to hate each other. We're supposed to be enemies, man. What's up with you, Jake, trying to love this man? What's up with you, Jake, trying to be best friends with Esau Edom? What's up with that, man? When the Lord himself hates Esau, so we're supposed to hate him. But you, Jakes, like it says, you trim your waist to seek love, man. You try to get love. You try to be loved from this white man. This white man's never gonna fucking love you. All right, it don't matter how nice he is, man. It don't matter if he says good morning to you. It don't matter if it gives you a damn a bottle of Coke. It don't matter if he gives you a raise. It don't matter how nice he is. It don't matter if you hang out and have fun together. He's the fucking devil. And there's gonna be a time where he's gonna show that he's the fucking devil, man. And that's why, we're out here. The prophets are out here warning you, telling you who he is, man. But our people have a problem with hearing of who Esau Edom really is. Oh no, I have white friends. They're pretty cool. Yeah, they're pretty cool now. But when that race war hits, when the Lord really puts a separation between us, man, and allows Esau to show him who he really is, you're gonna change your what you thought about Esau is gonna be your opinion. That love that you have for Esau is gonna change real quick, man. But that enmity is hatred. All right, it goes into hatred, which is what the Lord put upon us in the woman, when it says, "I'll put enmity or hatred between thee and the woman, between thy seed and her seed," as we're referring to us. All right, the nation of Israel, and their seed, the serpent seed, which is you Edomites. Hatred. That's why Esau, he has. Our people become docile, destroyed, dumbed down as a people. They want to love this man, but Esau, he shows. You have different type of Edomites. You got Esau that really shows the hatred, and you got Edomites that hide their hatred. They know how to hide the hatred, man, because they gotta deal with you, Jace. They gotta tolerate you niggas because you make the money, you entertain them. That don't mean just because Esau out here taking pictures with you, shaking your hand, all friendly, don't mean he loves you, man. He just knows how to tolerate you, man. He knows how to, hide his hatred. But again, he's the devil. It is gonna come out. He cannot control himself. You know how many instances where you had a Edomite boss or Edomite let's say like Edomite owned the NFL or the NBA that came out with, there was a coach, I believe they used to work, the owner for the Clippers, not the one right now, I think it was the Clippers, was one of the owners that he had to step down because there became leaked emails of him talking shit to Jake about his players. Okay? But hey, during that time, he was taking pictures, all happy when they were, shaking hands, because he had to tolerate Jake. You Jakes were making him a lot of money. And that's something that our people don't seem to understand, man. Esau knows how to hide his hatred. He knows you got Edomites to know how to hide the hatred, because they gotta deal with you. They gotta see you at work every goddamn day. They know they can get fired for that shit if they called you a nigga. But they do it behind closed doors. They do it in their mind. They do it when they're in their family, man. But deep down they look down on us, man. They despise us. They hate us. They just have to deal with us. But there's gonna be a time where they're gonna show their hatred. Okay? There's gonna be a time where these devils are gonna really show that he hates us. They're not gonna have to hide it anymore, man. And right now, ever since Trump's in office again, Esau is more bold. He's more bold, calling you niggas, saying I'm gonna hang you niggas. They're more bold. They're really more bold with it, man. They don't care. They think that they're gonna come back on top, man. So they're gonna act tough. They're gonna say shit to your face. They're building cities, as they really have cities intact where niggas ain't allowed. Niggas ain't allowed and shit, man. But you, Jake, still think that the white man still loves you. Oh, not all white people are bad. No, all white people are bad, bro. All white people are bad. All right? You are going to have Edomites that are going to try to play cool and be all cool with you, trying to, like it says here. Let's get that before I get Genesis. Job chapter 20. In 10 it says, his children shall seek to please the poor, and his hands shall restore their goods. Right, you're going to have Edomites that's going to try to support Jake. Like for example, that BLM, the whole protest. You have Edomites that come out and support because they feel bad about their forefathers and what do you call it? They feel bad about their forefathers, what their forefathers have done. That don't change the fact that they're still the fucking devil. You got Esau that actually treat you nice, that'll treat you better than your own people. But that don't change the fact that they're still the devil. A snake is still a snake, right? You got a rattlesnake, a baby rattlesnake. It's still a damn snake. It's still poisonous. You got a cub. You got a tiger, right? Let's say you have a cub, a tiger cub or a lion cub. It's nice, but when it grows up, it becomes ferocious, man. His instinct starts kicking in. Okay? It don't matter if you grew up around these Edomites. Alright? You have friends that were Edomites. Their instincts are going to kick in, man. Let me see. There's another precept I can get. Psalms 58. And 3 says, the wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. Their poison is like the poison of a serpent. They're like the deaf adder that stoppeth her ear. And we read that in NLT. It says, these wicked people are born sinners. Right, Esau, Edom, they're born sinners. They're born wicked, man. Alright? Even from birth they have lied and gone their own way. They spit venom like deadly snakes. They are like the cobras that refuse to listen. Alright? So these Edomites are a natural born enemy. They're the devil. Edomite devils. Hey, and when Jake hear about us dashing the little ones against the stone, they have a problem with that. But don't you remember when Esau had us in slavery, which they still have us in slavery, but don't you remember when Esau used to feed our babies to alligators? Don't you remember when Esau used to cut up the pregnant woman, grab the baby and split them up to test their strength? Don't you remember when they used to feed our babies to their dogs? All the the list goes on, man. To what Esau has done to us when we were in them chain, when we had that yoke of iron upon us, man. But our people are still trying to seek love from this devil. Our people still have a problem when they get all emotional when Esau shows his hatred. But let's get the next point I want to bring out. Let's go to Genesis 25, verse 20. It says 21. Genesis 25 and 21. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife, because she was barren. And the Lord was entreated of him, and Rebekah his wife conceived. And the children struggled together within her. And she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord. Right. So she became pregnant. It's like she thought she was, barren. She was barren for a certain period of time. She couldn't have babies. And best believe when she found out she was pregnant, best believe she was happy as hell. When, her and Isaac, we could finally have, they're praising the Lord and all that. They were happy. But then she started to feel what? That pain, that struggle. Because the two children that we're going to find out who they are, right? Which we all, us that are in the know already know. But these two children struggling together, fighting each other, right? She felt all that, man. Like if you have children, you deal with your woman, right? Woman can feel the kicks, they can feel when the baby moves, they can feel all that, man. Okay? It's obvious. So when Esau and Jacob were fighting each other in the womb, she felt all that, and it was painful. She probably couldn't sleep. She had sleepless nights. It had to be very painful for her to inquire to the Lord. She went to the prophet of the Lord, and the Lord said this. All right? She said, if it's meant for me to have babies, why am I experiencing this pain? And like she couldn't go to no doctor. There ain't no doctors, like sometimes a woman may not feel the baby kick or baby move, or she feels some type of pain. They go to the hospital. When you go to the hospital for that type of stuff, they immediately take you in. That hospital could be the emergency room could be packed full of people. But when they find out you're pregnant and you're telling them, not you, Slack. The woman's pregnant. Y'all know what I mean. The woman's pregnant, and they find out. She said, "Oh, I can't feel the baby." They immediately put her in. They immediately. All right, I'm telling you from experience. Okay, they immediately. But back then she couldn't. There was no doctor, man. So she had to go to what? She had to go to the Lord about the pain and the struggle, the pain that she was feeling in her womb, man. She was seeing them. She was seeing them punches and kicks in there, man. Literally. It's like, hey, like I've seen documentaries like how hyenas grow up, and like they stay in their den for like a certain period of time before they go out and explore. They stay in their den, but during that den, all the cubs are literally fighting each other, and the strongest one comes out first or comes out on top. Okay, which I'm not saying that to say Esau is stronger, because he's not. But for him to come out first, it was all prophesied. It was all meant that way for a reason. Okay, but it says and the Lord was entreated of him, and Rebekah. So like I read that part. Verse 23 says, and the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb. 2 nations. All right, 2 different nations. And 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. 2 different bowels. 2 different people. Different spirits. All right. You got one that was born righteous, and one that was born wicked. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people. And who's that? That's us Israelites, the so-called Negro, Latino, Native American, and Seminole Indian. We're stronger than these devils, man. And they know this. They know that we're physically stronger, and we're smarter too, and we're more wise. Don't believe this heretic that this stereotype that all we know how to do is play ball. All we know how to do is play basketball, play football, rap, be niggas, sell drugs. That's what the stereotype that Esau puts out for the world to see. But what he don't want you to know is Jake is very creative. We're the former of all things. There's a lot of inventors. There's a lot of Jakes that are entrepreneurs. There's a lot of Jake that are very wise, very smart, that are doctors or lawyers. There's a lot of Jake. There's Jake, bro. There's Jake that helps Esau in the military. Oh my, this you can go on and on, but how even though we're in the lowest state right now as a people, we're still greater than these fucking devils. Jake, we invented the internet. A lot of stuff that's used today was invented by Jake. All right, we're more than just entertainers. Okay. You know, Esau sees a tall Jake and he just assumes that he play basketball. Nah, man, I'm a doctor. I go to Harvard and I study this, I study that. You got a lot of smart Jakes out there, man. Jakes that know their shit. Jakes that are very successful. Like, in my particular job that I do, I go to different areas and I like, damn, this is eating my area. This is a nice big ass house. It's a nice house. Like, yeah, I tell my coworker, this is a fucking eating my. There's a white person. This is how these people live. Right, but I knock on the door and there's Jake. Like, damn, oh shit, Jake. He dressed nice, smell good. It's already like 7 in the morning. Jake's very successful, man. But the point is, we're stronger than these fucking nations. I mean, these Esau, man. We're stronger than these devils. We're better than them, man. Better physically, mentally. All right. It says, and the other people and the elders shall serve the younger. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. Hey, like I said, they didn't have doctors. She didn't know. She probably thought she had one baby, but you know they could. She, you know, doesn't say it, but it could have. It was so bad. It might have thought she had twins. She probably saw different. You know, felt. You know, she could have come to that conclusion or not. The point is, the matter is that twins came out of her womb, and the first came out red all over like a hairy garment. They called his name Esau. Now, it came over. Esau didn't come out all hairy and shit like a monkey. It says and the first came out red all over like a hairy garment. He called his name Esau. Right. Back then in the ancient world, they used to dye their garments red. Let me see. Let me get a precept for that. I want to get a precept to back my statement up. Exodus 25. Verse 5. It says, and ram's skin dyed red, and badger skin and shittim wood. That's Exodus 25 verse 5. So they dyed like garments in red. So when the scripture says this, and first came out red over like a hairy garment. Okay, Esau came out red. He was you go to his name, his wasted away. Ishashua. What was wasted away was his pigment, his melanin. He wasn't dark skinned. He came out red. He came out like a red person. That's why you see Esau today, they're red. They're not white. There's nothing white about them, but they're red. Okay? So I'm bringing this out to prove that we never liked each other. Even in the womb, we've been fighting. We've been fighting each other, man. In the womb, we've been fighting, man. Before we were even born, we were fighting each other, man. That's something else. Punching and kicking. So much. And Rebecca had to inquire the Lord about this. And the Lord had to tell her through a prophet, like, hey, there's 2 different people in your womb, 2 different nations. That's why you're feeling this pain. What shows you that we're not meant to get along, man. We're not meant to be lovey-dovey with the so-called white man. We're not meant to be friends. They're like, yeah, he's our brother. He's our evil twin brother. But that don't mean that we're supposed to get along with him. That don't mean that we're supposed to love him. He's our enemy. Esau hates us. And we got to hate him too. But our people don't hate Esau. They love Esau. You know? They love Esau in the world that he is established in wickedness. And that's why majority of our people that love this place are going to go out with this place. Alright? Because they don't understand who their enemy is. A lot of our people have been think that, you know, you got we got our house. How should I put this? Our people look at each other like they're the enemy. You got Judah hating Issachar, Issachar hating Judah. You got Issachar hating Zebulon. The tribes hating each other when we should really be hating Esau. And we all should know that Esau had his way in that, dividing and conquering us. When we're all, dividing us as a nation and conquering us and making us hate each other when we really should hate him. Because he's our enemy. We're brothers, man. We have history. Okay? But Esau the devil, he's our enemy. So why you Jakes shouldn't be surprised when Esau shows his hatred towards you. You shouldn't be surprised when Esau's racist. You should hate his ass too. You should not want to be around his ass, man. You see him smile at your kid. You grip your kid like, I don't want you touching my kid. Don't be near my kid. Don't be near my child. Stay away from my child. These devils, they hate you. So it's all right that we hate them, man. We're not supposed to love these fucking devils. Alright, but later on it goes into Jacob being born in the birthright. But let me end it. I'm about to end it. Let's get this one in Jeremiah 2. Because I quoted it. Jeremiah 2 verse 33 says, why trimmest thou thy way to seek love? And not what we see upon our people. They trying to be loved from this man. They trying to seek love from this devil. They go out their way to please their master. I've seen it plenty of times, man. Jake treat each other like shit, but when Esau comes around, their whole attitude changes, man. You wait in a line, and Edomite may be right in front of you, and the nigga woman is all treating him, that Edomite, all nice, but when you come around and give you fucking attitude and facial expressions immediately change. But you see, you got people that have that Uncle Tom spirit on them. That sellout spirit upon our people. Upon them. They want to love Esau and hate their own kind. They hate their own people. You got Jake that trying to be like Esau, man. Live like Esau. Hang around Edomites, man. Trying to be loved by these devils, man. And you find out why you end up hanged in a tree. Your body end up found deep in the river down in Mississippi. Because you're around them fucking Edomites. You're the only dark-skinned man around a bunch of Edomites. That don't make sense, man. You Jake and you hang around a bunch of Edomites? Nah, man. But it says, why trimmest thou thy way to seek love? Therefore hast thou also taught the wicked ones thy ways. Alright. There's another one I wanted to bring out. What was that scripture? Oh yeah. Let me end it with this, okay? Let's get Malachi, because we're supposed to hate this man. We're supposed to hate our enemies. And Esau's our enemy. Not trying to love them. Not trying to seek love. We're not trying to be loved by them. Because Esau's not going to love you, man. He's going to hate you. He's gonna hate us. And like I said, it doesn't matter how nice he is to you, man. He's going to be nice because he's going to need something from you. He's going to need you to work for him. He's going to need you to make him money. He's going to need you to entertain him. Or all the above. So, of course, he's going to hide his hatred and tuck his tail and not show his redness. Not show his devil. Not show him being a devil. Right? Until he gets what he needs from you. But hey, the devil is always going to show himself. The devil is always going to reveal himself. He cannot hide himself forever, man. He cannot control his hatred. He's going to show one way or another. And it's about to be these devils. You got a lot of these Edomites out here in America. They're about to show their hatred towards you, Jakes, man. The Lord's going to allow it. The same one of you niggas that want to be loved by Esau, that want to show love to Esau, the Lord's going to have that same Edomite fucking hang your ass. Gonna gun you down, man. Chase after you, hunt you down. All right, the Lord's gonna allow these devils to show their hatred towards you, Jakes. The Lord's gonna have to remind Jake the hard way of why Esau is an enemy, because they don't want to hear it through the mouth of the prophet. So the Lord's gonna have to do it by show it by example. But this is Malachi chapter 1 verse 1 verse 2 says, I have loved you, saith the Lord. Yet ye say, wherein thou hast loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother, saith the Lord? Yet I loved Jacob, and I hated Esau. And when you go into the story of Jacob and Esau, which we read a little bit of it, when you continue reading, even though we weren't born first, we were the second born son, and the Lord made it a way where we got the birthright, and we got the blessing, because it was all, at the end of the day, meant for us. Esau was rejected. So the Lord loved us. He always loved us. But Jake has that mentality like the Lord don't, because of the current condition that they're in. Now understanding the reason why is because we sinned against the Lord. That's why we're in this condition. That's why Esau's able to gun us down, all that, man. Okay? You got to keep your guard on all white people, man. You can't. It don't matter if they're your high school friends, middle school friends. It don't matter, man. They're the fucking devil. Now, of course, you gotta be wise as a serpent. You gotta be at peace with all men, and that includes them. I'm not saying, you see Edomite coming your way, you don't hold the door for him. I had to, I was, telling my sister a little bit about the truth, and she's starting to believe and all that, and she really hates Esau. I remember taking her to the movies, and I went out, and then I was watching her, and she just shut the door, and I had to tell her, like, nah, man, you can't do that. You gotta be at peace with them. I know you hate them, but you can't. You gotta just be wise. You gotta be at peace with all men. I know you hate them, but you just can't do that. Basically, you gotta be wise in this society. We got to be how Esau is towards us. Esau, like I said, Esau knows how to hide his hatred. Alright? So we got to know how to hide our hatred towards him. We got to be around Edomites all day. You got to go to work. You hate Esau, but you're going to say, hey, good morning, sir. How are you? Hey, good. What's up? Hey, I'll hold the door for you. Hey, I'll do this. Hey, I'll do you this favor. Oh, this and that. But deep down, we know you fucking devil. Deep down, we know not to trust them. And that's the problem with you, Jakes. You trust Esau, man. Okay? But it says, and I hated Esau and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. So the Lord hated Esau. He's always hated Esau. And that's not going to change. He's not going to change his love for us. And he's not going to change his hatred for Esau. He's always going to love us. He's always going to love Jacob. And he's always going to hate Esau. Alright? So I'll end it there. The point was made. Lord willing, you brothers edify. I will give all honor, glory, and praises to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Rachakodash. Shalom.